Alcatrazz are back again, but this time they're looking to the past instead of the future. The new release, Prior Convictions, isn't your typical comeback album. It's packed with re-recordings of classic tracks from the 80s, plus a couple of brand new songs. But here's the question: did they really need this album? Today I'm diving into whether these re-recorded versions bring new life to Alcatrazz's legacy, or was this just a waste of time? Today I'm talking about Prior Convictions by Alcatrazz, released on November 7th, 2025 through Brave Words Records. This one has 9 classic Alcatrazz songs from the 80s era that were re-recorded with a new vocalist named Giles Lavery. And there are also 2 new songs. One is called Transylvania Requiem, which is an instrumental. The other one is called Stand and Wait Your Turn. Here's a clip of that. I will talk about them in detail later on. This is a band that changes their lineup very often. It has 2 original members, who are Joe Stump on guitar and Jimmy Waldo on keyboards. Rounding out the lineup is the new vocalist Giles Lavery. They also have Gary Shea on bass and Mark Benkachea on drums. My apologies if I mispronounced that. I actually didn't know this one was coming out. I hadn't heard any of the singles, but I saw it was released today, so I decided I was going to review it this weekend because I reviewed a few of their previous albums that were released in the past few years. Their previous album was called Take No Prisoners. It was released on May 19th, 2023. It was the 6th studio album. I remember I liked that one a lot. I think I actually ranked it fairly high in my end of the year ranking. That one featured Doogie White on vocals and was released on Silver Lining Music. It also had the same lineup as the one I just mentioned, with the exception of the vocalist I just mentioned, and there was a different drummer named Larry Patterson. I did a full review of that one. I also did a full review of the 2021 album called V, and that was a good one. And if you didn't know, this band came out in the early 80s with Graham Bonnet on vocals and Yngwie Malmsteen on guitars. And their debut album was called No Parole from Rock and Roll, released in 1983. Many of the songs that were originally on No Parole from Rock and Roll were re-recorded on this new album, Prior Convictions, which I'm going to talk about right now. So I'm going to be going track by track. Let's get into it. The album has 11 tracks. The first 2 tracks are the new songs. The rest are re-recordings. The opening track is called Transylvania Requiem. It's just a 2-minute instrumental. It's heavily inspired by classical music, mostly a solo guitar track with Joe Stump playing the main melody. So really it's just mostly Joe Stump playing the guitar with some accompaniment in the background. But with that being said, it has that old classical haunted house feel, hence the song name Transylvanian Requiem, which I can't really say. I've been butchering that this whole video. But anyway, the next track, Stand and Wait Your Turn. This one had more of a hard rock feel. Kind of sounds like a Deep Purple type of song, but slightly heavier. Has a nice mix of guitars and keyboards. The song's pretty cool. The new vocalist reminds me a little of Tim Ripper Owens. He has that classic heavy metal vocal style. He can both hit the high notes as well as sing in a more relaxed and melodic style. After this is the first re-recorded song. It's called Jet to Jet. It was originally recorded for the debut album No Parole for Rock and Roll, as were many of these songs. I thought it was a good heavy metal song, and let me also mention that I've never really listened to early albums by Alcatrazz, as I only started listening to them a few years ago with the newer stuff, so these re-recorded songs all sound new to me. I could tell Joe Stump is trying to play like Yngwie, which is probably not too easy, but I thought the song was okay, not too bad. I like the keyboard work that was in harmony with the guitars. Next is Star Carlene, also from the debut. This was more of a melodic hard rock song. It's a very 80s type of sound with lots of neoclassical guitar acrobatics. Then after this is Hiroshima Mon Amour, and here's a clip of that. This was also from the debut. Sounded a lot like Deep Purple kind of song again. Had lots of guitars and keyboards. The vocals were very big and lots of neoclassical guitar licks mixed in. New vocalist Giles Lavery really showing off his range here. Then there is Island in the Sun. Here's a clip of that. And this is another one from the debut. It's a very upbeat and happy type of song. I would even say bordering on 80s pop, and it was kind of catchy, but that's all I have to say about it. Then there's Too Young to Die, Too Drunk to Live, and you guessed it, also from the debut. It's a heavier song, had more of that classic heavy metal sound, but with some prominent keyboard work. The original song was written by Graham Bonnet and Yngwie Malmsteen, so there are a lot of guitar acrobatics in the song. After this is God Bless the Video, which is kind of a weird song title. It's the first song taken from a different album. It's from Disturbing the Peace from 1985. It was one of the better songs in my opinion, more energetic, has some awesome guitar playing. Let me also mention Steve Vai was in the band at the time, so it's a different guitar style. After this is Skyfire, also from Disturbing the Peace album. It was like a cross between a melodic hard rock song from the 80s and Iron Maiden, and had that galloping guitar sound. I thought it was a good song, had a good vocal performance. And there are two more songs. The next two songs were from the debut album. Next song is called General Hospital, another weird song title, because there was a soap opera of the same name that was popular back in the 80s, and for all I know it's still running. I don't know, I'm getting off topic, but it's a weird song title, but it's a pretty cool song with a very 80s hard rock vibe. I like the theatrical aspect of the song. I thought it was bigger and brighter. It had some awesome keyboard work. The last song in the album is called kind of a weird song title, Kri Nakori. The longest song, 7 minutes and 41 seconds long, kind of sounds like a progressive rock type of song. I thought it was pretty cool. It has a very big and epic sound with some very powerful vocals. In conclusion, I want to give my final thoughts on the basis of whether or not this was necessary. And my answer is, I don't really think so. First of all, I've never been a fan of re-recordings, especially if they're recording some of the most popular albums. Secondly, I don't really think they needed to remake any of these songs. I think if they have a new lineup with a new singer, they could have held out and recorded a full album. They could have taken the first two songs and released them as standalone singles, and maybe put in some time in the studio and could have cranked out another album to be released maybe next year. That's probably what they should have done, but I don't think it's a bad album. It just really wasn't necessary to go through all that trouble to re-record all these songs that were fine in their original state. But for someone like me who wasn't familiar with this album from the 80s, it was a good way to become accustomed to some of their earlier stuff. So I'm actually kind of interested in listening to that early album or their earlier albums. I may have listened to them many years ago. I don't remember, but it's not the type of album that I go back to a lot. So I thought it wasn't really necessary. So for that reason, my score is 7 out of 10, because it's okay. It's worth checking out. It's worth listening to. But I'm more interested in hearing a full album from this new lineup, which maybe they'll do one and it'll come out next year or so. And I like it. I thought the new lineup works well together. The new vocalist is very good. But let me know what you think. What do you think of this album? Do you think they needed to make it? Do you think they added anything to the original songs? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to stick my review of the previous Alcatrazz album. I'll stick it right there. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Please give the video a like. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you have not already. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.